Hello, everybody. Welcome into the NBA Front Office Show.
We have an early trade to announce.
We have a trade. Finally, Jimmy Butler on the move, heading to the Golden State Warriors. Lots of pieces still trying to figure out where they're going to land. But the bottom line, it's going to have Dennis Schroeder, Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson leaving the Golden State Warriors. Jimmy Butler teaming up now with Steph Curry and Draymond Green in Golden State. I'm Trevor Lane, joined by Keith Smith. Keith, I think we need one final send-off here.
I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball, and wherever that may be.
Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
Will Jimmy find his joy in Golden State, who just decided to give him a 2-year, $121 million extension?
He gets 112. Sorry, I think there was a typo in there.
Oh, was it? Well,
yeah.
He got a. I have a feeling that it will still be enough to return Jimmy's joy.
I think it'll be okay. Yeah.
It would be okay.
Yeah, I mean, with joy, you can buy my joy for $112. I mean, $12 might buy my joy. So yeah, it's crazy, right? We said it today when we finish. We'll probably see you later tonight.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing, just the way this went down, when we all kind of got something's happening, was Young Masuk said the Warriors have closed the locker room and have asked all the players to come in and ask the media to leave. And that only gets done when something big is happening. And that was clearly breaking it to the guys. Hey, we're moving some guys along. And here's what we know. Jimmy Butler's going to Golden State. Andrew Wiggins is going to Miami. And a whole bunch of other dudes are going to land somewhere between San Francisco and Miami, maybe with a trip to Canada, but maybe not.
Maybe not.
Knows? There's just a lot of moving parts in this. Dennis Schroeder is involved, but he's going to Utah. Utah is going to be sending PJ Tucker to Miami, it sounds like, for some reason that I don't really understand.
It's an expiring contract, but so is Schroeder.
Yes,
so
but yeah, it's my guess is
money?
When we see this all break down, this will be tax in apron related is probably what will happen here. Tucker makes enough less than Schroeder that's probably a difference maker. Yeah. Kyle Anderson is right now, I guess, headed to Miami, but maybe going to Toronto. We're going to see with that one. Who else? Lindy Waters, the third, is headed to Detroit. Josh Richardson's headed to Detroit. It's going to be, really, really crazy, with all this stuff here. It's really going to be, bonkers to watch this kind of get pieced together just because it's so big with so many moving parts.
Well, let's talk about the biggest piece of this. Jimmy to the Warriors. Do you like that for Golden State with giving him the extension? My gut was that's a lot of money to give Jimmy Butler, but it's also probably the money that will keep Jimmy happy and why he was suddenly okay with going to Golden State when previously he was not.
Yeah, if you're going to do this, you have to give Jimmy Butler the extension. Otherwise, don't do it, right? Because you're going to get him, and who knows where it goes. Before we knew the extension piece, I had tweeted out like, hey, maybe we're going to end up in a spot where the Warriors, worst comes to worst, they cleared out some long-term salary. Well, that's clearly not the case now. I like the idea with Jimmy Butler on the Warriors, giving them another creator with size, a guy who's, I mean, just at this point, far better than Dennis Schroeder. He shoots every year in the postseason, doesn't shoot well, outside of that, but, gives them a guy who can really defend. I think now we'll be in a spot where they're probably better in the like immediate going forward. The thing is, how quickly is Jimmy Butler going to age? He's, an older player. Is he going to continue to play 55 to 60 games a year on the high end? If that happens, the Warriors don't now have the same kind of depth that they had before this trade. They traded out quite a few guys. So there's a lot of pieces that are going to kind of happen here where it's going to be, all right, if this goes well, it's probably going to go pretty well. But there's a lot of paths where this could go really wrong for the Warriors too.
Yes. But this is the risk you have to take when you have 36-year-old Steph Curry and you're sitting outside looking into the playoffs, and that's a tough spot to be in. So I do understand why they would do that here. I've already got people in the chat asking, well, is Dennis Schroeder getting bought out in Utah? Because why does Utah want him? They could flip him.
Yeah.
They could turn around and retrade him before the deadline. He's an expiring contract that will have value. There'll be teams that'll be interested in that if they want. So I would imagine Utah's going to explore that first and foremost. I get why the Warriors would do this. It makes sense. I don't know how much better Jimmy Butler is than what Andrew Wiggins was providing right now. But again, they want Steph to feel like he's got a shot, and we know what playoff Jimmy looks like, and that's what the Warriors are going to be banking on. That playoff Jimmy Butler plus Steph plus Draymond, that's going to be enough for them to get the job done. They also held on to Jonathan Kuminga. That was important for them in this trade. Initially, Miami wanted Kuminga, and he didn't get put into this deal. So that was an important concession there on the side of the Heat in order to get this done. I think they came off of the Kuminga piece a while ago. I want to say a couple weeks ago, but Keith, time has lost all meaning here in the NBA trade deadline. I get why the Warriors are doing it. They could wind up regretting it for sure. The floor is low on this, but they do feel like they've raised their ceiling a little, and that's all they're looking for. They want to have a shot. And I do think they gave themselves a better chance at it now than they had yesterday.
Yeah, and can you pull up the standings real quick? Because this is important. I don't know how many people realize what it looked. There you go. Dallas is now out of the postseason picture today. I mean,
there it is.
Lots to go, but they're out as it stands right now. So this just gives you a look at, like, this is crazy. Like, basically from the Clippers down to the Mavericks, you have a 3 games in the loss column spread there. Like, that is super, super tight. Mm-hmm. Now, I think the Clippers are probably the best of that group. They're the one I feel most confident in. Minnesota has played better, but now Julius Randle's out for a while with an adductor strain. So we didn't even talk about that earlier. Yeah. So it'll be interested there to see how that comes. So we're really in a spot with the Warriors. They're probably in a better place than they were before, but it's no easy task. They're going to be battling the whole way through because one of these teams is not making the postseason. I'm willing to kind of probably take the Spurs out of the mix now, but I don't know. De'Aaron Fox is there. They're in a tight game with San Antonio. Fox has played well for what it's worth. They started Chris Paul and De'Aaron Fox together in the backcourt. So maybe the Spurs figure it out and make a real run at this. But this is a challenge to just make it into the 10. And that's just to make it into the play-in tournament.
The play-in, yeah.
That's not even to get to the playoffs. So the Warriors have a major uphill battle here. Somebody asked, Schroeder even going to play a game in Utah? I'd be shocked. I don't even think he goes to Utah.
No.
I would be kind of surprised. I think Utah will bring him in. Utah will try to flip him by deadline. If they can't, then I think what we'll see the Jazz do is, then they'll probably have a conversation with him about buying him out.
Yeah, right. Now, Schroeder, right at that MLE, or he signed for an MLE last season, does that make him non-eligible to be signed by first-tier apron teams?
He's not making more than the non-taxpayer, so he's eligible. Okay. So it's more than the non-taxpayer amount. I have to let me double check that real quick.
I guess that's the question, because he signed for the non-taxpayer. What was it, last summer? But with the raise, he is now making more, right?
Greater than greater than the non-taxpayer amount. Not greater than or equal to, but greater than. So he would be eligible to sign with anybody.
Okay. So he could he could go anywhere and land on a minimum salary after a buyout with Utah potentially. So that's something something potentially there as well. The Chicago Bulls. Oh, you know what? Let's just do this.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Well, not so horrifying here, but the Chicago Bulls and Lonzo Ball have agreed to a 2-year, $20 million contract extension. Keith, I am shocked.
No, this makes absolutely no sense.
No.
like, what do
Great
you?
for Lonzo.
Yeah, yeah, I'm super excited for Lonzo. That is awesome, for him. Like, just to, I mean, we're at a point where I didn't think Lonzo Ball might even get another contract, right? We,
Right.
we discussed that, openly, and great, but yeah, 2-year, $20 million extension.
I
People are
mean, it's
asking,
below MLE.
yeah, I mean, it's fine, but just why? Like, what's the point? Like, that doesn't.
Well, the
Uh,
Bulls are pretty thin at guard.
yeah, right. Yeah, I was. Wait a
Except
minute. I
they're
was, I
not
was
at
like,
all.
did I miss 7 other trades today that I forgot about already? Yeah, I mean, that's just, I don't know. A
Is
couple
this just
people
the
are
Bulls?
asking.
The Bulls spent a lot on Lonzo for years with him not playing. They obviously couldn't find a trade for him. Is this just preserving him as an asset so you don't watch him walk away for nothing? Like, what if the second year of this is non-guaranteed and he's immediately a $10 million expiring contract this summer?
Yeah, if that's the case, sure. Like, then yeah, absolutely. We could see that be a thing. I think that challenge is we're at a spot with. Sorry, somebody's saying something about Schroeder. Is that right on Schroeder? Oh, Schroeder signed the MLE last year.
That's what I'm saying. He got a
Oh,
raise
yes,
off the
yes, but he
MLE.
is not eligible. Sorry. I'm for some reason it was D'Anthony. I keep getting him and D'Anthony Melton kind of because they were traded for each other
Sure.
mixed up. So yeah, Schroeder would not be eligible to
So he
sign with
can't.
the New
Okay.
York.
So even though he
Yeah,
used
sorry,
the
good catch by
MLE,
Jared.
the raise off of the first year
Correct.
makes him
Yes.
ineligible.
Yeah. Yes, correct. So yeah, that's great catch by Jared there with that. So to go back to this Lonzo thing, and then we'll get back into the trade. I don't understand it. A couple people in the chat asked, "Is this part of a extended trade?" If it was, it'd get reported that way. They would not report the extension part and then the trade part later. I think this is just what you said. I think it's the Bulls didn't find a trade they like, and they are like, let's get let's do this. Let's get with him. Yeah, he's still trade eligible, but they're not going to trade him. If they were trading him, this would all be announced as one big thing. Like, don't look deeper into stuff than it is. We don't live in conspiracy theory land with this. So, I think they're really in a spot where it is. Let's keep them. Let's keep them,
Yeah.
and we'll figure this out down the line.
Sham saying several trade suitors emerged for Lonzo in recent days, but he and the Bulls have not reached a deal that keeps him in Chicago through 26, 27. So it doesn't sound like there's a non-guaranteed year there. After 2 years away, Ball has made a successful, productive return this season.
Yeah, there could be a team option on that back end, right? Just because the Bulls are probably going to want to protect themselves somehow. Now, Sham says Kyle Anderson, Miami's keeping Kyle Anderson for now. So it's
okay.
Wiggins, Tucker, and Kyle Anderson will go to Miami along with a protected Warriors first rounder, which don't know. I thought was Zach Lowe the one who maybe tweeted out what that it was
a top 10 protected first. No, I was looking at that, Keith, when I was over on the basketball bulletin here, and that's a pick, the Warriors pick in this deal. It's pretty likely to convey. I mean, it'll be the 14th pick right now. If it's top 10 protected, this thing's probably going to give them, even if the Warriors get a little bit better and move up a little, they would be sending a mid first round pick to Miami. So there's some certainty there. It's not like it is a top 20 protected first that Miami is getting here, where it's unlikely. Miami will likely get this pick from the Warriors in June.
So what that does is, if the Warriors do fall out and then have incredible lottery luck, now they won't lose the pick. If they move up into the top, part of the lottery, they're good. I mean, there's a world where that pick could fall as low as, I don't know, maybe like 11 in that range, maybe even 10 if they really fell apart. So I guess that's why you make it top 10 protected, but that's really to protect against. We fell out, we jump up in the lottery and we go. And that's 2 years, top 10 over 2 years. And then it switches to 2027 with no protections. According to Zach Lowe had the full details on that.
All right. Well,
how great is it to have Zach back in the world here, dude, doing a little bit of independent work here with this. So
yeah, very cool. Very cool to have him back in action. What a trade deadline. This has already been
bonkers.
And we still have, hours to go.
Yeah.
3:00 Eastern time tomorrow. We'll jump into a few super chats here. We're not going to be on for an hour show or whatever.
No, not yeah. Especially if there's a chance we could have to come back later.
You never know. I'm not the only one who thinks they got worse after this. Wiggins is almost as good as Jimmy Butler, and they lost a lot of depth for a 36-year-old. That is the
he's
score
not,
with this.
though.
Like, it's
Yeah.
possible, right? But so you lose Schroeder, you lose Kyle Anderson. I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I understand why the Warriors did it too. I do think Jimmy is clearly the best player there in the deal, even if he's not quite what he once was.
Yeah, Wiggins may be playing almost as good. He's just not a better player than Jimmy Butler. You have to remember too, if you're just looking at the stats, Jimmy Butler's been mailing it in for a little while, right? So it's like I just I don't think we're gonna see that last all the way with this. And Jimmy Butler very famously just kind of gets through the regular season. And then you get to the playoffs, and historically he goes to a whole different level. So we'll see.
Can they extend Kuminga this summer? I just realized Jimmy will be the highest paid player next season, and Curry will be the second highest. Yeah.
That last part doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't. He went many years with being the third highest paid player on the team. So he's not going to stress about that. Can they extend Kuminga this summer? Sure.
Yeah, they sign him.
Yeah. And now, why you do a Jimmy Butler trade now versus I saw some people say, well, couldn't they have waited to until the off season and made a move like that? Problem is, if you do it something like that, then it's a sign and trade. You trigger the first apron hard cap. The Warriors now are going to be super expensive next year, and they can go into re-sign Kuminga to a big deal and be even more expensive and be right back into being an apron team. That's kind of where this is probably going to trend towards. Now, they did get off some money for Kyle Anderson and Andrew Wiggins, so that part is helpful. That will help pay for a chunk of Jimmy Butler's new contract plus whatever Kuminga extends for. But we'll see. With this.
Jamal says, I think people are being too conventional in their thoughts regarding the Lakers. Luka LeBron equals NBA Finals. Wall break up things for that. Gets played off for a big that gets played off the court. Yeah, I mean, this is mostly on the Jimmy Butler trade and everything, but yeah, we'll see how it all comes together for the Lakers and Luka. And it sounds like he's going to play Saturday because that got moved to national TV game and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's fun. Good for the Pacers too, right? They land a national TV game out of nowhere that they didn't expect, and I love having I love having a nice afternoon game to watch.
There you go. Fun. At this point, every time I see Sham's tweet, my immediate thought is, what did Utah get there in every trade? Yep. They're just scooping up assets.
Well, I said it. I said Danny Ainge saw Sam Presti get a second earlier today, and he's like, hey, wait a minute. No, I need to be in here today. I haven't gotten a pick yet today. You gotta hop in a deal.
Yeah, right. He's got to get something done. Oh, you're talking about the league? They'll be the highest paid?
Oh,
Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry.
League.
Is that right?
Probably right. Yeah, probably. Yeah, because it'd be on a max deal, so very likely.
All right, and then still confused on the Lonzo extension. Is he a long-term fit, at least for the next 2 years?
Yeah, my guess is there's a couple pieces at play here. The Bulls love him. This is a reward for Lonzo working so hard to come back.
Yeah,
right. Lonzo could have at some point been like, I'm just going to ride this out, collect my last couple of years of my contract and be done. And he worked really hard to get back. And my guess is the Bulls are saying at $10 million a year, it's not going to kill us. Super movable contract, very easy if we need to, and let's kind of go there. So I'm super excited about it for Lonzo. I continue to kind of be confused by the being confused by what the Bulls are doing here because Vooch is still on that team. There's still him. There's still, like you said,
they got moves to make.
28 guards on that team. I really don't know. I can't remember if we talked about it earlier or not. Came out today that the Bulls are sitting Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, and Trey Jones because they are looking to move all of them.
Yep.
They're looking to see. Good luck with Zach Collins and Kevin Huerter. Like, I'm not sure where that's going to go, but yeah, it's going to be crazy.
All right. Well, there's a decent chance we're jumping back on later and certainly tomorrow. So we'll call it right there. But a big trade, obviously. Jimmy Butler, the Warriors get their guy, and we'll see where everything goes from here. But thank you, everybody. Make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Till next time, see ya, and stay safe.